Brothers Animation really hit gold when they put together Batman the Animated Series, which debuted in 1992. They followed it up with several other animated series in the years that followed. The first one was Superman the Animated Series in a very similar style in 1996, and then there was the Justice League series in 2001, which adopted the same style of animation too. In between those two follow-up shows, though, they did a little series called Batman Beyond, and for this one they tried something really different. They took Batman 50 years into the future of Gotham City after the events of Batman the Animated Series, and so it had a lot of neat little different elements to it, and it featured a different Batman, a teenage Batman. And so you know what that means when you get a new kids series for television. You also get new kids meal toys, and that's what we're going to take a look at on today's episode of Terrific TV Toys. What you're looking at here are 7 out of the 8 toys released by Burger King in the year 2000 to celebrate the animated series Batman Beyond. I didn't have the full set of 8. I was missing, evidently at the time, the Batmobile Blastoff, which is similar in functionality to this Joker cycle that we're going to take a look at. I'm not sure why I didn't get that 8th toy. It probably just wasn't available at the Burger Kings in my area at the time. But here are 7 of the 8. The series itself of Batman Beyond debuted on January 10th, 1999. It ran for 3 seasons. 13 episodes first season, 26 episodes second season, and 13 episodes third season for a total of 52 episodes. The lead character of Batman, the new Batman, who was a teenager named Terry McGinnis, he was voiced by Will Friedle, and then Kevin Conroy reprised the role of Bruce Wayne from Batman the Animated Series, although now he was in his 80s, so he was sounding pretty gruff in that new series 50 years in the future. And then Terry's mom was voiced by actress Terry Garr. And Stockard Channing was my girl, Barbara Gordon, who now was the police commissioner in Gotham City. I love that. And she was getting on in years too. So this futuristic series introduced some nice little elements, some fun stuff with its vision of where Gotham City might be going, 5 decades ahead. And since then, since the show came and went in 1999, 2000, 2001, it's actually had a comic book series, and it's been introduced. Terry McGinnis has been a character introduced in the regular comics, so that's been interesting to see that really this vision for Gotham's future in some ways has been accepted into the regular comics continuity. So let's take a look at these toys. Let's start with the Joker Cycle. And what this is intended to do is he's kind of hooked in here, and you rev up, you push the button down to rev up, and you release him through this lever in the back, and he goes. And we'll see if this works, because this was not particularly well behaved in my pre-shooting trials. So let's see what kind of mood he's in today. So you push the lever to rev him up. Keep in mind, these toys are pretty old. Yeah, there you go. And then you release him, and he basically goes. Okay, so he did okay. So in the Batman Beyond series, the Joker, as we know him and love him so much, was not really a character, but he was an inspiration for this gang of street hoods who dressed themselves up in the purple suits, and other outfits that were clown-like outfits, reminiscent of the Joker, and then the makeup and everything. And they called themselves the Jokers, with a Z on the end, as a street gang of criminals causing trouble that Batman had to deal with on occasion. So you can see there's a decal showing some of those nice little thugs on it on this particular toy. So that's the Joker Cycle. Let's take a look next at this nice little top. Now this top, and each one of these toys, you can see on the bottom, has the inscription, the copyright info for Warner Brothers / DC, and then the Burger King logo and all of that, and the year 2000. And this one's got the Batman Beyond. The Batman Beyond did have a little bit different Bat logo with his red and black outfit that you'll see in better detail in the 3 different Batman toys from this set, this collection. So when you look at this top, there's an arrow indicating which direction you put the cord in, one side and out the other. And then you pull that baby and let it spin. But what I'm going to show you that you can't see there till I hold it up here, look at the marvelous colors. All kinds of colors and patterns. The battery in this one still works after all these years. Still in working condition. Very cool. I'm going to let it cycle through. Yeah, each one of these toys does something a little bit different, so that's a cool thing for kids of all ages, even the older ones who collected these at the time. Okay, so let that baby stop. I think it stopped. Set that over here, and let's take a look at Blight next. Blight was one of the major villains of the series. He was a corporate mogul, a very powerful, wealthy corporate mogul who had an unfortunate encounter with big dose of radiation, so he started glowing and he became a criminal and caused a lot of trouble for Batman also. And what this is, it's got sort of the glow in the dark stand, and what happens here, if I can get it to work correctly, this one also was not terribly well behaved in the trials that I did before shooting this. But basically you can push his legs together and his arms move also. And this outer covering is sort of designed to make him look like a normal person, but that's not how he really looks since he got all nuked and everything. So when you hit his arms, his outfit comes off and you can see what Blight really looks like. And then when you push his legs together, he's glowing. Look at that glow. Oh my gosh, that is so creepy. Okay, so that's Blight. And we'll take a look at the third villain from this collection before we move on to the Terry McGinnis figures. This is Ink. That's I-N-Q-U-E. She's the chick villain, the female that was introduced in the series. And this is a bendy for her. She's a shapeshifter on the series. And she had her own encounter with a toxic substance that changed her forever, turned her into a shapeshifter. So she is a keychain, which is pretty handy. And then you can bend her a little bit, not a whole terrible lot. But her gimmick was that you could, and see this is not really working so much anymore 14 years later, or 15 years later now, but you used to be able to rub her skin here, her face or her neck, and this brownish inky shading would go away. And so she would essentially change color. And unfortunately, after all these years, I'm not really able to demonstrate that for you. But that's what she did, Ink. All right, one of the three Batman figures from this collection. This one is a figure on a stand. And he has two different discs that fit in his stand as well. We'll take one of these out. And what you do is you put this with that slot, you put it where he can grip it with his hand there. And he's pretty simple in functionality. You just kind of take his hand or his arm, wind him back. Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe he needs a better grip on that thing. There we go. That's the general concept. So he can hurl those two discs and knock out a criminal who's causing trouble. All right, and then another Batman figure is this one. And what's going on with this guy is, and again, you can see how the bat is a little bit different. I liked the outfit for Batman Beyond. I thought it was cool because I love black and red. For one thing, it's like my favorite color combination, but the bat was different. Sort of a cool little futuristic thing. But what you can do with him, when you press the button on his belt, his wings go up. And then it used to be when you held in the button, he had a little something else like a light up, you know, in his chest, which does not work anymore. And then he's got this thing going on. You can kind of skate him along. He's got wheels on the bottom. So he's flying along like that. All right. And then the third and final of my 7 figures is this other Batman. And this one, unfortunately, I'll put that back in there. Fortunately, he broke. He broke off here. So I can still place him on this peg, but he doesn't work anymore. You can see he's got sort of the speakers on the front where the sound used to come out, and what would happen is you would put these keys in and be able to turn them, and he would say a couple different phrases, and that does not, unfortunately, work anymore. But that's how that one worked. So we got some fun toys from Burger King from the kids' meals. Pretty well made and doing cool little things for kids to enjoy. And stay tuned, because future episodes of Terrific TV Toys, we're going to show you another thing or two from Batman Beyond.